Good evening and welcome to Gunner Shot. Here we go. Uh, and that's Mr. Sree Iyer. Mr. Sree Iyer, please lead on.
Namaskar. Thank you so much. This is a joint production of Ganashot and P Gurus. And actually, I'm just joining in as a guest host because General Ravi Shankar has done all the hard work. All I did was to bring myself here. And we're going to talk about a very important topic. This is the third transmission from P Gurus today in a 24-hour window about what is happening in Israel. So I hope you have seen the previous ones. The important takeaway here is now that I think three waves of attacks have taken place. Was it something that was like a fitting response to what Iran did to Israel on the 1st of October? And are there other things that should be looked at? For example, the air defense systems of Iran. Did they even turn them on, or they turned them on and they didn't turn on, or they don't have? All this and more. I think General Ravi Shankar has a PowerPoint presentation that will unfold all this mystery for us, because Iran would have not just like that jumped into the battlefield knowing fully well that there will be retribution. So, General Ravi Shankar, this is the question, sir. What do you see? What do you make of this thing? Is it a Noora Kushti? Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thanks a lot. We'll take it on. We'll go logically because, unless you go logically on these issues, we will not get to understand what's happening and what will happen. And I think that will be the best way to take it. So I'll go through a formal, what shall I say, appreciation or, a military evaluation assessment so that we understand the whole thing in its entirety, right? And I think that's the best way I know as a military man. And we'll talk about this. It's all action stations. Right, but before that, I'd like to just put across this to everyone who's watching. The past 2 days, we've had this Chanakya Defense Dialogues. There were 8 sessions, and on 1st of October, we had a session in which I was also on stage with the Vice Chief. Uh, the whole thing started with the Chief and Ms. Palke Sharma, a talk between them, and then there was a whole lot of panel discussions. Some of the best minds in India, and including Chairman ISRO, just to name a few, and Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, uh, you know, it's a whole lot of them were on stage in this discussion. We covered economics, we covered health, we covered normal security, we covered environment, everything. Now, these are in a series of videos which I'm releasing. I've already released 4 of them. Those of you who are interested, just go to Gunner Shot channel, check on Chanakya Defense Dialogues, and you'll see all those. You see it. And every day, in fact, today also in the evening at 6 o'clock, I released a video. Tomorrow at 6 and in the morning and in the evening, I'll keep releasing one video each. Uh, most of us, I want to spend a minute more if you don't mind,
No
Shreya.
problem, sir.
Uh,
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
most of us, we talk, we assess, we do all these things. But we are not the horses. The horses are those people who are on stage, those who are in power. And it'll be worth your while to understand what Indian defense is thinking, what Indian polity is thinking, and what the actual story is happening. That's important. Like our ex-foreign minister, Kamal Sibal was there. Then Mrs. Ruchira Kamboj, who was a permanent rep to UN, she was also there. I'm just giving you a few, I'm just throwing a few this thing, plus a host of retired generals, ambassadors, and top guys. Right? So that's where it is. So with this now, I'll get on to, the actual thing which we've been, looking forward to for the evening. Okay. Now let's look at this retaliatory attack of Israel on Iran. It opens a new conflict, and it actually this whole conflict has entered a more dangerous phase, and it's going to be long. That's the first thing. But what's happened today? It's just stopped short of a all-out conflict, all-out war. I think USA has fixed the match to some extent, but there are certain issues. right? There are certain issues I must put across. This is the first time Israel has publicly acknowledged in a military operation inside Iran. So far, that has not happened. So now, officially, there's a conflict between Iran and Israel. It's now more between Hezbollah, AWO, all that nonsense. And this is also the first time that Iran has been attacked since the Iran-Iraq war of the 80s. It's a big thing for Iran. It's nice to say I'll do this, I'll do that, but it's a big thing for Iran. Understand that. Okay, now this is a complete hybrid war which is going on. What is hybrid? Part conventional, part unconventional, part terrorism, part everything. So that's hybrid. Okay, let's go one by one. What's happened? Attacks in Hamas, on Hamas in Gaza are continuing every day. There's some casualties. Hamas has not died. They're still resisting. They're still firing rockets into Israel. So that action is going on. It's just that they're moving from north of Gaza to the south of Gaza. Yesterday they were firing at Khan Yunis, which is southern or central, south central part of Gaza. Then the Houthis are still active. Few days back, then no, they hit one of the vessels which were going, and notwithstanding the fact that USA has carried out a major attack on Houthis, right? Using B-52s and B-25 bombers for the first time, and which flew from USA to attack them. This happened last week sometime. Okay. And then, of course, the ground attack in Lebanon is underway. We'll touch upon all these a little later. And then, of course, the airstrikes on Iran, which were conducted today. I mean, if you just focus on Iran, you'll lost the whole picture. Okay, that's the point. Now we let's roll back. Iran's missile attack on Israel, which we did on 1st of October, did cause some damage. It's now coming out to their air bases and all that, but not much. But it did cause. Earlier, it was thought there was no damage, but it did cause. So we were all wondering what will Israel's response be. And there was, intense diplomatic activity from in the past 3 weeks to prevent attacks on Iran's oil and nuclear facilities. Because if that had happened, your complete energy balance in the world would have gone for a toss, and Iran would have probably attacked the Gulf kingdoms around, and you would have gone into a tailspin. Right. One important thing has happened though. The THAAD battery, Terminal High Altitude Defense Battery, anti-aircraft defense battery, has been shipped into or deployed in Israel by USA. And I'll explain this a little later, right? I'll talk of this in detail later to beef up the missile defense of Israel. USA has also moved additional fighters into this area. Just yesterday, I think a squadron of F-16s landed here. Where they'll not tell, but it's there. And in the past 2-3 weeks, Israel has carried out multiple cyber attacks. Outcomes are not known, but my guess is in these cyber attacks, they would have penetrated the Israeli, electronic shields here and
I
there.
think Iranian
And
electronic shields.
yeah,
Sorry,
sorry, yeah,
Iran.
Iran. Israelis have done. They would have penetrated Iran's, electronic shield somewhere, and they would have got valuable information which would have been used now. So there's a lot of preparation which has gone in. Okay, what's the Israeli strategy? First, break the arms of the octopus and isolate the head and hit the head. So now, earlier it was just the sequential manner. Now they are hitting the head and the arms of the octopus simultaneously. What are the Israeli lines of operations? I've said this before, but I'm reiterating it. Nothing has changed. They're still into deep intelligence. They're still exploiting their tech advantage. They continue to defend their people and their elements within Israel. They're targeting the leadership. That Safedin, who was supposed to be the number two after Nasrallah has been knocked off. He's been knocked off. Of course, Yahya Sinwar has also been knocked off in the intervening period. So uh, the Israel is continuing to knock off the leadership. So I don't know who will come as a leader. In fact, Gaz in Hamas, now they have said, no, there'll be no leader. There'll be five people who will lead. And all those five chaps are in five different locations. Okay. So that will help Israel in the long run. And they had this policy of mowing the grass in Lebanon, Gaza, West Bank, in Syria, in Iraq, that they're continuing. What's mowing the grass? I'll just explain to you a little later. They're destroying infrastructure wherever they can of Hezbollah and Hamas. And right, and there's a political outreach also by Netanyahu. He's addressing Gazans directly. He's addressing people in Lebanon. In fact, he's managed to turn the Lebanese against Hezbollah. You have to
Hezbollah.
understand, Hezbollah doesn't represent Lebanon. A lot of people in Lebanon don't like Hezbollah, right? So that he's been able to achieve to a large extent. Okay. Now, these are the options which we spoke of when we did the thing with Sree last time. Okay. Out of these options, the targeting the nuclear sites and oil, these two options are out. They've been red carded by the whole world and Israel. Sorry, USA. So Israel has to look at the other options. So it's continuing its ground offensive in Gaza and Lebanon. There is pressure on all the militias, including those militias in, Syria and Iraq. They're eliminating leadership. They're attempting regime change in Iran. Whether they'll be able to do it or not, we'll see. Right? And they're targeting key and military infrastructure in Iran, like they've done, and anywhere else. Okay. Now let's see what's happening in Lebanon. There's a ground offensive go from the south. It's making very slow progress. If you see that belt in blue, that's all they've been able to get hold of. Why? Hezbollah is giving in a good fight, and they're making life difficult for Israel. There are strikes going on in Beirut, and they're carrying out targeted strikes on Beirut. And on the north, they're carrying out strikes on weapon transfer facilities. Weapons are being transferred by Iran through Iraq and Syria. And just outside Lebanon, they have some depots, shippos, and all that. So those are also being taken out. So the weapons don't come into Hezbollah. So all these actions are going on almost on a daily basis, right? I just thought I'll put across how tough the whole situation is for. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
sir. You
General
wanna?
Ravishankar, General Ravishankar, a couple of questions. I'd like you to
Yeah.
go back to the thing where you showed the Houthis and a few more slides back, sir. Back,
This one.
back.
Yeah, this is the one.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one. Yeah. Now,
Yeah, yeah.
Go. Yeah. Stop right here, sir. Please. So, Houthis still active. Sir, Houthis are not running Yemen, to the best of my knowledge. They are not in power in Yemen. They are just a group, just like Hezbollah is in Lebanon. And if the Iranians stop supporting Houthis, do you think they can still be a powerful
No, no, that's out of
force?
question. The point is the Houthis control 50% of Yemen today. There's a civil
Okay.
war going on at 50%. They control a couple of ports. They control oil also in Yemen. But Iran is supporting them completely. If Iran doesn't support, naturally they will not. Houthis will start collapsing. So on that, there's no doubt. But then they see the Houthis won't give up in a hurry. Let's be very clear. No matter what you do to them, they've been getting bombed by Saudi Arabia and USA for over the past 10 years. But they still are fighting. Okay, they don't mind cash. See, you must understand these traps are fanatics to a large extent. They're a tribe. It's a fanatical tribe, so you will have problems. I mean, period. Right? So, any other questions on this, or shall we go?
Yes, well, just a request to all of our viewers. A couple of things you can do, viewers, for better viewability. This is a very important PowerPoint presentation, and as always, we could do more viewers. And small request to all of you to like this video. Only 1 in 5 that are watching on P Gurus, I'm watching it right here, have actually liked this video. Please like more. And also, if you're watching it on a cell phone, do watch it in landscape mode, because then you can see some of the finer print that is there in the PowerPoint presentation. It's important to understand, because this is the 360-degree view. What is happening? Who is doing what? What are the constraints? What are the restraints? And so this one video will actually give you a complete 360-degree perspective of what is happening in the Middle East region. So humble request to all of you to like this video wherever you're watching, whether it is Ganashot or P Gurus, and then also watch it in landscape mode if you're watching it on a smartphone. Over to you, sir. I will not interrupt.
Thank you. No, no problems. We have a lot of time. Right. Okay. So let's go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. So we were here, and yeah, we were at this point of time. So we had explained to you what's happening in Lebanon. Now let's yeah this you know the ground offensive against Lebanon is going. The going has been very tough. And I'll show you this video. The kind of resistance. I won't say the resistance. The kind of infrastructure which has been built. See the ammunition which is there, hidden by Hezbollah in houses. See the kind of, let me explain this a little better. You see the kind of tunnels which are there and see the kind of ammunition which has been stocked. And Hezbollah has done it in almost every second of this. Is just one video. And so the Israelis are really going very, 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 very slowly. And it's a smart strategy because there's no point in hurrying and then regretting at leisure. Because then you'll find Hezbollah sitting behind you, coming out of tunnels and sniping at you. So they're doing almost a house to house clearance. And that gives Hezbollah time to react from the rear. So it's going to be a very, very deliberate operation. That's why when you say mow the grass, you have to slowly mow the grass. You have to keep cutting, and keep making space so that those areas where all these tunnels and all are, cleared off, they will not, these chaps won't come back. Okay. Now let's get back to this presentation and let's now focus on Iran. Okay. Look at the ranges from Israel. You know, average range is about 1,000 miles. That's about 1,600 kilometers. Max is about 1,500. That's about 2,300 kilometers. Now, no normal aircraft can go there. You have to do air-to-air refueling. So all aircraft of Israel in this attack have done air-to-air refueling and then attacked, which means that the aircraft have been airborne. There's an air refueler up, and that's a slow-moving aircraft. It becomes a complicated operation. That also means, the pilots would have had to operate for 6 to 8 hours. It's not a joke. Try sitting in a cockpit of a thing for about 8 hours. Okay, you understand how difficult it is. So it's a tough operation which the Israeli pilots have done. Okay, right. Now, if you look at this, now that's where Israel has launched attacks. There are a bit of confusion on this. There are indications that in Tehran, military installations have been hit. There was also a mention of Karaj. Karaj is about west of Tehran, about 80, 90 kilometers. They also been hit. They're also talking of some place in Mashhad. Mashhad is near the Pakistan border, almost near. So there also they've been hit. So we don't know the exact thing because Iran has not come out with it, nor has Israel said anything. Okay. Right. So this is where it is at this point of time. Now, what has happened is these attacks started at about 2:30 in the morning and went on till about 5. So just about 2.5 hours. They were carried out in two waves. More than 100 fighter jets and unmanned drones were involved in this attack. Long range drones. And Israel has got tremendously good long range drones. Okay, they first targeted, you know, the air defense batteries and radars in Syria and Iraq. Just understand this. This area, where this pointer is, this is Iraq and this is Syria. Now, any transit has to be through this. So, Iran had deployed a lot of their elements here, air defense here, forward air defense. First, they'll knock that off. After knocking that off, midway, they went. In fact, it would have been almost simultaneous. When you say knock that off and went, the difference would have been not more than 5-10 minutes. Okay. Then the first wave hit Iran's AD systems, air defense systems. And then they, of course, like I said, avoided nuclear sites and energy installations, oil and all that. Now, the second wave struck Iran's long-range missile production sites. That's what has been reported. The truth we don't know. And about 20 sites, 20 have been hit in Karajan, Tehran. Some they say Mashhad, but I don't doubt if anything went to Mashhad. One of our reports said Mashhad. Okay. They've avoided all the oil installation. They've avoided all the Iraqi nuclear installations. Now, Iran has downplayed these strikes. They say it's only limited damage, but I don't agree with that. There would be damage because Israel has very good intelligence about Iran. So there would be damage. They'll naturally not say much. And very surprisingly, Iran has announced completion of retaliatory strikes against military targets in Iran. They've said, okay, we have done our trick. So that phase is over at this point of time. That's why I said some amount of match fixing by USA has happened in this. Now, Israeli aircraft have targeted missile manufacturing facilities, surface missile arrays, and other military sites. So, how successful? Not we don't know, but we'll come to know. Now, the question with this is a proportional strike. That's what it's being termed. It's a proportional retaliation. Will proportional Israeli strikes prevent Iran's counterattack? That's the question. What will Iran do next? So far, no one has spoken. Whether Iran will have the stomach to come and counterattack and do something else like it did earlier and then face a retaliation, we don't know. Already, this war has expanded. I mean, just to give you a thing, if you leave this out, Turkey has also bombed some areas in Syria and Iraq, incidentally. This happened 3 days back. Why? Those people who are against Turkey, they did something naughty in Turkey, southern Turkey. So the Turkish Air Force has also come and done some nonsense here. So this war is slowly expanding, right, outwards. Let's see what is in store. Nothing is predictable in this. Okay, what are Iran's retaliatory options? And they've given it out, incidentally. Iran, 2 days back, gave it out. 2, 3 days back, they gave this out and said, uh, if, if something major Israel does, we will carry out ballistic missile strikes at Israel. We will increase our militia attacks across the Middle East. Now, not Israel, Middle East. Remember, that means they're going to hit Kuwait, they're going to hit Bahrain, they're going to hit, all those small UAE or Saudis and things like that, or even Oman. So we don't know. Okay. They also threatened disrupting commercial traffic in the Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz, which is under their control. And then they threatened global shipping and start an energy war in the Middle East. All these they have very calculatedly put it out. So Iran also has a strategy, and this strategy has played its trick. Otherwise, Israel would have cleanly taken out all the oil facilities and all that. Now, this is important. Iranian officials also have claimed that Tehran could refrain from retaliation if Israel only strikes military targets. See this? They've said if you strike only military targets, we might not retaliate. And so far, only military targets have been hit. So will there? That's why there's a question mark of Iran's retaliation. So that's where the whole thing stands at this point of time. But look, let me talk a bit now of the air defense and things like that, because a lot of questions are there on this. This is the range of the Iranian missiles. Okay, they can easily cover. They cover the longest missiles from Iran, even cover half of India. But there are the bottom part of this. Those missiles can go up to Israel. Not all can go up to Israel, but most of them can cover the Gulf. So Israel can be hit by Iran by max range missiles or the heavier missiles, but the Gulf can be hit by most of Iranian missiles. So that's the danger. That's why I put this up to make you understand. That's the red circle that can close the Gulf. If the Gulf closes, all our petrol bills will go up overnight. Already, Houthis have 70% of shipping from Red Sea has gone diverted from the Cape of Good Hope. In fact, the unintended consequences, Egypt is already on the verge of economic breakdown because their revenues through the Suez Canal has gone down by 70%. Okay, they are
Hmm.
already on the street. So there are a lot of consequences. Now, if they are, will Israel join this fight to clear out Houthi Shrutis? We'll see because they are getting affected. So the whole lot, and also the North African countries, they'll also get affected soon. Okay, now this is Israel's air defense system. Okay, you see what is there in red here. This is the Iron Dome range. This is THAAD. Okay, that's up to 200 kilometers. And this is David Sling. Okay, that has a range of 300 kilometers. And Arrow system goes to 2,400 kilometers. But this is not the major issue. The major issue is this. Why? When a missile comes, it comes from the top. It's not the range which matters. It's going to come from the top. It has to be caught at that point of time. So that's where the third comes into play because it has a range of 150 kilometers aerially. You know, not all missiles are effective at that height. As you go to that height, missiles cannot be controlled because as the air gets rarefied, control on the missile goes and the missile loses its speed because there's no oxygen up there for the propulsion to function. So there are a lot of issues. There are a lot of technology in this. So that's where THAAD comes into play. But now, if you see with this, Israel has a layered defense with Iron Dome, David Sling, Arrow System, and THAAD height wise. Range wise, also, they have a good thing. So, the moment the third system has come in and deployed in Israel, and one is deployed in the Gulf of already Americans have deployed. So, there are two. With these two, virtually, you can, the Iranian missiles can be intercepted at every stage. Okay, this is in addition to what Saudis have and what Jordanians have. They also have some missile defenses. Okay. Now, this is how a THAAD battery functions. It has three components. Basically, it has a radar. It's got a fire control center, that is THAAD Fire Control Center, TFCC, and then a launcher. So, when an incoming threat is detected, the first thing is that radar detects. So, the important part of any air defense system is this radar, which detects the threat. Okay. And then the fire control system takes over and it assigns the whole thing to a launcher and the launcher fires, right? This is the broad idea of thing. It's all automated. It's all high tech stuff. Everything. I'll not go into it. I hope I made the thing clear. If someone has a question, we'll come back to it later. Now, just for ideas, each third battery is made of 48 interceptor missiles. It's got six truck mounted launchers. Okay. So, six truck mounted launchers spread over an area. So, area coverage it gives. All these launchers need not sit at one place, they can be kilometers away. But the fire control system is centrally located like a nervous system, center of a nervous system. Radars thrown out. So it's a whole grid which is formed. It's like a box. And these would have been already co-opted with the existing Iron Dome and other systems which Israel has. So there's a complete AD air defense umbrella. But let me tell you now, notwithstanding all this, missiles will still get through. If you expect missiles and aircraft not to get through, forget it. Okay. It's got six strong truck mounted launchers. It has a radar, a command and control platform, and about 95 soldiers to a battery. Now, the thing about THAAD is there is no warhead on the missile. It destroys the missile, it destroys the incoming missile by actual kinetic kill. It hits the missile and kills. Now, there's an important difference between this and the S-400, which I'll explain a little later after this. There are nine active THAAD batteries in the world. Two are in the Middle East, one is in South Korea, one is in Guam, and the four or five others, I don't know where they are. They must, they would be there within USA also. After all, USA also needs it for its own mainland defense. Okay. Uh, Now, just to give you an idea about the S400, if you go into it, please look at it on a laptop, like what Mr. Iyer said. This whole story is best viewed on a laptop, fully enlarged, then you'll get the actual thing. See, the difference between THAAD and S400 is the THAAD has only one kind of a missile system, which is an anti-missile system, right? And that's all. And it can hit a height of 150 kilometers. Whereas the S-400 has four types of missile systems for, UAVs, fighter aircraft, normal aircraft, and missiles, incoming missiles. And it's got a range of 400 kilometers. And it's got I mean, otherwise setup wise, it's got a radar, it's got a fire control system and all that. Now, India has contracted five such systems from Russia. We've already got three systems deployed in India. First arrived in December 21, second in April 22, third in March 23. The two remaining squadrons, we call it squadrons, they call it batteries, which were to be delivered by 24 because of this Ukraine war has been delayed. By 26, we should get them. Okay, that's the expectation. Okay. Now, this is how it gets deployed. I'll not go into it. I'm showing you this slide because this slide gives full information of the S400. And this is from the public domain. I'm giving you nothing secret. Okay. And you can see it in various articles and all, but expand your screen and see it for more information. That's all. Okay. Now, when you look at the S400 and THAAD, you'll see two different things here. The range of S400 is 400 kilometers. It outranges THAAD. And it has got different kinds of missiles. It's effective against UAVs, fighter aircraft, and missiles, whereas THAAD is only against missiles. Then THAAD works on kinetic kill. That means it has to hit the incoming missile, whereas the S-400 is based on a explosive thing. It doesn't have to hit. It can go near and explode. If that is done, things are okay. So I just thought I'll give this details of all these air defense systems because a lot of people have asked me, "Sir, give us the difference between what is THAAD, what is S-400. Please tell us the difference and all that." Oh, here I'd like to clarify a couple of more issues with your permission, Sree.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
sir.
you know, uh, People say, "Sir, China also has S-400." Yes, China has S-400 from 2018. It's got S-300 and S-400. But the version China has of S-400 has a range that it's got only three missiles. It's got four missile systems. S-400 Triumph has got four missile systems. The highest missile system, the longest range is 400 kilometers. The next one is 250 kilometers. Then I think 180, something like that. Okay. Uh, what China has got has that S-400 has got a max range of 250 kilometers. What India has a range of 400 kilometers. That's the major difference. And of course, we've got the latest equipment suited to our conditions, co-opted with our systems. Okay. Uh, there's a big difference between S-400 which China has and S-400 which we have. Iran has S-300. They're now, somewhere it is given that they already have S-400, but I don't think they have because Russians didn't do this deal, way back in 21 or so. Now they're talking. The Iranians have gone, visited this plant at Yekaterinburg, and might be some deal which will come through, but so far, no. My guess is Iran doesn't have S-400. So it's only S-300, definitely Iran has. S-400 is a question mark, but my thing is it doesn't have. Uh, Besides this, I think Turkey is the other country which has S-400. But the S-400s which other countries have are lesser versions of what we have. I just wanted to make all of you understand that. Uh, then, yeah, if there's one more thing I'd like, yeah, that's all I have at this point of time. So I'm open to questions. We on any points you have, Shreyas ji, आप बताइए. उसके बाद we'll take on any questions or anything.
Sir, I'm breathless because the amount of information you have put together. Viewers, I have been in this PowerPoint presentation thing. People take days to put it together because if you look at one slide, which essentially tells you about the Iron Dome and then the David Sling and other things that the general has taken it, I think, from BBC. Just to put that slide together would have taken hours. Now that is out there. This is like, the World Wide Web is a library, but all the books are on the floor. Your book that you're looking for is on the floor. You have to find out which part of the floor to look, how to look. So that's what General Ravi Shankar has done here for us. This 36 minutes spellbinding presentation is one for the ages because I'm sure many of us are curious about all these things. Because in a television program, if you're watching it, the poor guy gets 90 seconds to make his point. And by the time they figure out the acronym, the time is over. So you need a treatment of this depth, and you need so much time to do that. So sir, I'm very happy that you chose P Gurus as your partner to share this information because this is worth its weight in gold. My honest, unabashed opinion, admiration, what you have done here, sir. Just I bow. This is just one slide I'm saying, viewers. We have seen about 5 or 6 slides. The moment I saw the slide, while General was explaining it, I was looking at it. How long will it take, and how many sources do I need to go to get this data? So it's just out of the world. Viewers, you have picked up on the like count. You're about 1 in 2 now. I would like more than 1 in 1 because people are coming and going, coming and going. And this is the reason why we are saying it is many don't want this kind of information to be shared. Look at our own neighbors. They don't want this to be shared. So this is what we are up against, and our only Iron Dome is like.
Yeah. Yeah, I would request more of you to join P Gurus and Gunner Shot. I always say to everyone, I'll give you value. I'm not going to joke. I don't have any masala, nothing. I'll give you pure value. And like I said, uh, uh, I'll give you what people in India, defense planners, strategic planners in India think is what you get from me. Okay. So I am of that opinion. Yeah, if you want entertainment and all, you can do what you want. Otherwise, if I knew that, Sri Ayerji is involved in entertaining all of you, I wouldn't have partnered with him only. Let me be very honest. Okay. Because I saw some value in what he's doing. I'm, especially those of you who are in USA watching this must understand that we are on very firm footing. That's why I said go through those Chanakya defense dialogues. It
Yeah.
took me a lot of effort to get those, things because I couldn't handle it live. So I said I took it and I'm this thing. Uh, Watch it. It's worth its weight in gold. Yeah. So should we take some questions and all that?
Yeah. Before that, I have one
Yeah,
or two
yeah,
small
yeah,
questions, sir.
yeah, yeah.
First question
Please,
that I
please.
have is First question I have is so Iran has air defense system, whether it is S-300 or S-400.
Yeah, it has got.
So, have they been able to intercept any of the incoming missiles from Israel? And that's first question. I have one more follow up, and then we can go to general questions.
No, they haven't. Israel has not used missiles. They used only fighter aircraft. And as per Israel's statement, all their fighter aircraft have returned. And in any case, Iran has not claimed any kill of any fighter aircraft or even a drone. So they've come back clean. And my guess is those cyber attacks which they did and all the intelligence which they collected would have given them the windows to go through all these places. See, air defense is all about getting your windows right, getting your timing right. And attacks, air attacks also. The whole thing is 2.5 hours. You enter
Right.
airspace in 2.5 hours, and 2.5 hours later, you're out. Waves will take about 10-15 minutes. How you penetrate and come out is the whole story. So they're nothing. They've done it.
Thank you, sir. And second question is, so S300, you have an S300, and you know that they can really destroy your communication infrastructure. From an Iranian point of view, how would they have planned for this? Because they would have expected that there would not be any communication. Each one is on its own, S300.
No, they would have had a communication system, but that's why I said what Israel has been doing for the past, in the intervening period in terms of cyber attacks, getting intelligence, suppressing. They would have, you see, in this packet of aircraft would have gone, there would have been EW aircraft who would just be suppressing the ground, electronics. All the radars would have been, blanked out, spoofed, whatever they had to do. You can do shaft jamming, you can do jam the radars, do a lot of things. Right? So all that would have been done. Otherwise, they couldn't have succeeded. On that, I have no doubt at all. And you see, the thing about what Israel has done is, uh, you know, they have been carrying out, they've been hitting Damascus, they've been hitting Iraq regularly. It's not that, I think they've carried out some deception, physical deception also. So you see, like I told you, it has to be done sequentially. First, you take out the radars, and then you take out the Iranian radars and air defense elements, and then you hit your targets. It's a three-stage operation. My guess is that the Israelis, they've been doing for the past 1 week, 10 days, they've been hitting targets in Syria and Iraq. So this time they didn't. The Israelis have gone and hit those air defense elements and blinded them. Now it's like they don't know. Iranians didn't expect it. In that same time, a whole lot would have gone there, and they would have done whatever they had to do. So they've done a successful thing. You have to grant it to Israel that they're masters at this. Conventional war, and you also have to understand. I keep saying Iran has not fought a war from 1980. They're
General,
all hybrid fighter.
I have a
Yeah,
question, sir. For about 2 years after I finished my graduation, I used to work in India, in Hyderabad, and that was a time when all the defense labs were coming up. Abdul Kalam had become the director of DRDL, which is the big mother institution. Then there have all these other satellite organizations,
yeah,
DMRL
yeah.
for metallurgy, DLRL for electrical, and so on and so forth. So I used to have a good set of friends, and we used to talk about things like countermeasures and countermeasures. So, from what you're saying, you said something to the effect that when the Israeli aircraft are going in, they have a method to suppress the radar of the Iranian radar so that they cannot communicate amongst themselves. Would you call this as a countermeasure?
Yeah. All these things will go on. Part of the story. Counter measures. Everything will happen. All
So,
this will happen.
viewers, you can see this is not an easy game. They have to. It's a big chess game with a lot of jigsaw puzzles. You have to solve all these things in your mind. Then you will have some surprises. You have to course correct and to go in and come out unscathed, sir. Even if it is a fixed match, how many times have we seen fixed matches go wrong, sir?
Yeah. I agree with you there. I agree with you there completely. These things can happen anytime. Look, war is risk. War is risk, and combat is risk. Whenever I've been in combat, every time I took a decision, whether it was the lowest level as a major or as a brigadier, risk. You always go in with risk. You have to marginalize risk.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
that's different. Now I can understand what's happened there and all that. Anyway,
Wonderful, sir. So now,
yeah,
now we can take yours question, sir. Go ahead.
yeah. Um, yeah. Any consequences for Arya and Tata Batai? Looks like she was used as a useful idiot to confuse Iran that Israel will need to replan before attacking. Look, these games go on, Partha. There'll be decoys, there'll be spies. All these people will continue. So this is a game, right? And it's dynamic. So don't get too worried about all these things, right? What consequences happen? Who's bothered? They're all expendables. Mukundrao, thanks a lot for your super sticker. So honored, and so is Geeta Ahuja. Thanks a lot again, madam. Yeah. Just let me see if there are any questions which are, you know, right.
There are some unbelievable comments.
Yeah. With the fixed match played to perfection between Israel and Iran and the temporary cessation of direct fighting over, are we looking at a more serious conflict in the future between the two? I think so. Uh, Completely. They will be. Don't be this thing. This fighting with Hezbollah is only getting tougher and tougher by the day. Okay. There's going to be problems. There are going to be problems in Gaza. And Israel is very clear that it has a window till the first week of January. Once the new president comes into play, uh, things might change. So we don't know how things will go. Right. So that's how it is. You want to add anything, please?
Uh, no, there are a couple of comments very interesting. One person says, "Are you serious? This is the propaganda of the highest order. Even Israel isn't claiming all the things that you are claiming." I find it amusing. Listen, I mean, this is what it happened. This is what it takes to fight a war that far away. I mean, what has the general said there that is not true?
Where's that comment? Let me put it up. Ah, yeah.
Oh, just about this one, sir. Just about this one.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
one that you
yeah,
have.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Are you serious? This is propaganda of the highest degree. Even the Israelis say they did nothing. No, they have. Israel will never talk of it. All this is analysis has come out. Incidentally, 50% of what I've spoken, go and see New York Times, it's there. The other 50% is what I put in with my experience. 50% of facts which I put across to you are in New York Times. You know that picture with that arrow shown and all is straight out of New York Times. Okay? So you go, the New York Times covered it minute by minute. So that's how it is. Yeah. So it's not a,
See, it sounds easy
yeah,
when somebody explains it to you in the right sequence, okay? But it's not
yeah,
so easy. I'm telling you, putting together some of these pictures, you have to give enough data, but not too much. You have to give enough clarity. At the same time, you need to have something for you to explain and expand around that. So it's not easy. Go ahead, sir.
yeah, yeah. Karthikeyan has a question. How long can Israel continue this war with Iran? Because Iran has access to missiles with low per head cost than Israel, even though the quality may be inferior. Look, this is a game. Okay. All nations have to carry on. What Israel's stamina, we don't know. How far will USA support Israel? We don't know. Right? The day USA cannot support Israel, they will tell Israel to back off. They'll do something. So there'll be some peace deal, and that's how it is. That's how these games go on. But having said this lower per head cost and all this, please remember Israel makes it for themselves at the least cost because uh, They have their own technology, they have their own manufacturing. They're self-sufficient in this. So they can carry on for a long time. But in any case, uh, what shall I say? USA is backing them completely. Okay. Then the Lieutenant General and Sree Iyer, this presentation was fantastic information. I appreciate the time and effort. Thanks a lot. So yeah, uh, yeah, they are an offensive mission. We Indians always think of defense. Look, you, my dear friend, you can think of yourself as defense. I am not. I am not a defensive man, and I have served 40 years in the army. I don't think defensively. We think offensively. Okay, please understand that we are offensive by nature, right? What happened in on the LAC? I don't know if I said this in this channel. 4 years back, when no, sorry, when the Chinese came to the LAC, a lot of people said, "Sir, will they come back? When will this get resolved?" I said, be patient. Indian Army will ensure that this whole thing will come back to us. With China, one had to be patient. You have to patiently tell them, look, if you do this, the consequences are going to be pretty high. Certain things which you did then, explain to China that there were no headway when we occupied the Kailash ranges. So they went back there because their positions were untenable. We were offensive. Then they came in 2022 to Yangtze in Arunachal Pradesh. There we clobbered them. And after that, till date, 2 years, October 22, today's October 24. There's not been a single aggression across the LAC by China. And we have knuckled down and said, you get back. Unless you get back and give us our patrolling rights, we're not going to talk to you also. So they've got back. It's not easy. So when you make this, comment, like they're an offensive mission, we Indians always think of defense. You should know what India can do. Your country. And you're not supporting your country by this talk. Nonsense. I must
General,
tell
I have
you this.
one.
Yeah, let me
General, I have.
finish.
Yeah, yeah, please.
We are the only country which has pushed China back thrice in the past 4 years. I don't know if you guys know. First, we pushed them back from the north bank of Pangong Tso and Gogra and the hot springs areas by our actions. Created buffer zones, and after that, there's no talk. Then we started talking with them. They tried it at Yangtze, we clobbered them there. You don't know what's happened. It's not come out, but let me tell you, we clobbered them. Third, now we have, just for your information, in the past 1 year, China has suffered 55 casualties. 55 Chinese have died in eastern Ladakh because they are not okay with high altitude. If more people start dying, China will have a problem at home. Okay, so they've had to go back. And we said, unless you guys restore patrolling rights there, there's no talk. It is China today which cannot afford to keep their people in high altitude. It's not India. I hope you guys know that. I mean, if you want, on Monday, I'm doing a session on what the Chinese opinion on this whole deal is. We can do it together, right? I've been doing it. In fact, the whole week next, I'll be doing this only. Because that's our life situation. So you guys should understand that India is pretty offensive. And it's only an offensive India which created Bangladesh. There's no other army in the entire world which created a nation in 14 days. So just think before you guys put such third-rate comments. Yeah, now you ask me the
So one
question.
question, sir. On the 2022 incident, my recollection is that India circled and took prisoners about 50 Chinese soldiers and also some leaders in there. And then how did what happened after that? Somewhere I read that India led them back because they put up a white flag for surrender. What did India
No,
gain in return?
see, let me put it this way. See, they in Yangtze, it's a constructed place. So those chaps came. So we bet them black and blue and kept a few chaps back. And then they came immediately. It was immediate. It didn't happen. We didn't keep anyone back. We sent them back immediately. When I say immediately, we kept them for some time and sent them back. So that gave them a shock, you know. So after that, uh, they didn't dare to do anything because you can't, you have to also understand in high altitude areas, every fellow you keep is a pain. You have to keep four chaps over him. And in high altitude, or a chap who's broken his leg, to take care of him, you need eight guys to get him down. That you can't afford. So it's better you give it to them and let they took back. Those chaps had a lot of problems taking them back.
Hmm.
When you come down to Mother Earth, fighting is not about missiles and this and that. It is about dumb. Uh, Things are different. Yeah. Yeah. Any other question you have?
Um,
Yeah.
so
Let's
here,
put this.
yeah, yeah, go ahead, sir.
Why
Yeah.
did Iran not deploy its AD batteries against the attacking aircraft? Ukraine has repelled several Russian air attacks effectively. See, I think Iran. You must understand the difference between Ukraine and Iran. Ukraine army, for whatever you say, good, bad, ugly about it, Krishnathan, it was experienced army. Is an experienced army. Ukraine has been fighting the Russians or the Russian-backed rebels from 2014. It's not new. This fight there has been going on from then, and they've been using all kinds of weapons. And if you remember, there was a Malaysian airline which was flying over Ukraine, which was brought down by a anti-aircraft missile of uh, Russia. So there was a full-fledged war going on. So Ukrainians are battle-hardened. They know how to handle things. Iran, for all its talk, is not battle-hardened. That is where experience counts. See, this again proves the point. Experience counts. If you are experienced, you can handle a lot of things. If you're not experienced in battle, you cannot handle things. And that's what China is also suffering from, lack of experience. If you're not experienced, you'll die in high altitude. As simple as that. And the people are dying, so they want to go back now. Long and short of it. Understand. Okay. Let me take one more question. Uh, yeah, I don't, I don't see any more questions. Do you see any more questions?
There are. I can't do it. If you go down to Niranjan
No,
Pimple has a
no.
question. Ask,
Niranjan.
is the no bullet policy that benefits us? On the face of it, yes, as it also does not incur casualties on our dear soldiers. Want to hear the real and pro and con from a general who has commanded our army. No bullet policy.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let me get that. Let me get that. What's his name?
Niranjan Pimple. See, this is where putting a hashtag ask helps, guys, because there are so many comments and it's very difficult to go through them while you are, having a few seconds to react. So it's at the end at 8:27 a.m. my
8:27
time. It's
a.m.
8:58 or 8:57 for you.
I'm there at 8:55, 8:56, 8:50. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got it. Got it. Got it.
There you go.
Yeah. Is the no bullet policy that benefits us? On the face of it, yes, as it also does not incur casualties on our dear soldiers. Look, this is the thing, you know, The no firing policy and on the LAC is a mechanism so that when patrols clash, there is no firing accidentally. Because once firing takes place, escalation takes place of the incident. And escalation one leads to the other, and firing starts off. And then, what it is against Pakistan. In Pakistan, we have all bullets, all free. I mean, nothing, there's no bar. If there's a transgression, we use all kinds of firearms there. But here, it was a mechanism which was put in place long back. Good, bad, or ugly, it has held, and that fixes the threshold at which conflict takes place. So you have a capability of pulling out of conflict. These are all escalatory mechanisms or control mechanisms, right? So it benefits both. Right? If tomorrow there's firing, we'll do firing. If firing is allowed, so it depends on what you want to do or not do. It has nothing to do with anything, whether you right all this or not. Yeah, this is a question which I think, let me answer. How did Israel manage such a long distance bombing? Was there refueling? I told you they were doing air refueling, air to air refueling,
Yeah, yeah. I think he may have
right?
started the viewing a
Uh,
little bit later. He
Viewing a
hasn't come to
little
that
later.
point yet.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Let me see. Uh, has Israeli truly attacked their power plant, or is it just fake news? We don't know. We'll come to
Sir,
know
courage,
in a
courage they
couple.
have, sir. Courage they
Yeah, they
have.
must have.
Yeah.
They would have. Things would have come. They will come out. Actual things will come out in a couple of days. You see, within one day, not much thing will come out. Is there any? Yeah, I agree. Offensive and defensive statements, but why don't India make offensive and warn Canada and US? Why cooperate and make a scapegoat of raw agent? China and Israel would have dealt differently. See, please understand. Uh, you know, I think India has very smartly handled the entire Canada and US affair. These today, I read at least four articles, Economist, this, that, all that from the Western, stable, who say, look, we acted foolishly with India. Now they are likely to go to China's side. Already that effect has gone. Now you will see Canada shutting down. You will see USA also shutting down. They are now on a horns of a dilemma. Okay, you have made good with China, and now they're worried. What if tomorrow China and India become friends? What if Russia, India, and China become friends? That's what Russia wants. Think of BRICS without a B and a S at the front and the back. And RIC is a very potent thing. It will be a new global alignment. It will be a new global order. And that is at stake for the Americans. Please understand. And if India, now India has said, कि भाई जो तुम करते रहो वो that bloody turd of a third, उसको पीछे भागते रहो, you will lose your Indo-Pacific strategy. The, the big thing is you will lose your Indo-Pacific strategy. Your Indo-Pacific strategy will come crashing. So there are a lot of things which have been conveyed. So don't think that we have to do everything the way USA does and we're big high fly and all that. Don't worry, we know how to do things. India knows. Look, gentlemen, your questions, everything belies the fact that you feel that India doesn't know what it's doing. I'm saying this. That is why I'm again requesting you chaps, go to Gunner Shot, see those 8 or 9 videos, because those are the guys who are handling our policy. Those are the guys who are handling our economic affairs. Like Sanjay Sanyal is the economic advisor to the ministry, right? To our economy, this thing. Ruchira Kamboj was the permanent secretary of India to the UN. Right? Kamal Sibal was our foreign secretary. Those are the guys who are talking, whom you'll hear, who are actual hands-on policy. So unless you get to know what's the reality, how people handle, you'll keep asking such questions. I mean, this is for your own. I'm not asking you to this thing. I can't force you also. But all the best. If you don't want to, if you want to stay, they are more intelligent than me. I'll grant it. And they are more experienced because they are hands-on. They are currently in office. Yeah, I think we've done the whole
Last
thing.
one small observation, General Ravi Shankar.
Yeah.
About a decade or two ago, there was a very popular series about U.S. presidency and how White House functions called West Wing. Have you seen it, sir?
No, no, I have not seen it. I
Oh,
have
it's
not
very
seen it.
interesting because what happens is in one episode, I still remember this. There is an internal security incident inside United States. This was before 9/11. Before 9/11. So think of it like a 1993 bombing of the
Yeah.
World Trade Center. Somebody
Okay.
drove in a right. So there, what happens is the president is sitting in a command room, is eliciting inputs from various intelligence sources. Finally, what he says: check with the Israelis. This has happened inside United States. This has
Yeah.
happened inside United States, and he says, finally, check with the Israelis and tell me what they think. Oh yeah, like blown away.
No, you are right. You see, the Israelis are very good for intelligence. There's no doubt about it. Even we should have no doubts about that at all. Their entire story, their entire defense of their nation depends on good intelligence. Forearmed is forewarned is forearmed, right? They are a small nation. They're now fighting on seven fronts. If they don't have intelligence, they are finished. Right? Intelligence is important, and in fact, that is something where India has to learn and improve its intelligence. We have, but we need to do more. Let me be very honest about it.
Last parting thought. Last parting thought is yesterday there was a video of Joe Biden apologizing for all the atrocities committed against the American natives, like Indians and things like that.
Yeah.
You know what? He jogged the last few steps. He runs
Mm.
up and then comes and stands and he gives the answers to these questions. And he's like,
Yeah.
he's cocking a snook at the Democratic establishment. You guys thought I was unfit. Look, I'm running.
Unfit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but they have their own problems. They have their own issues with their democracies. They let them be happy where we are. We should continue with the way we have to do things.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. Anything else you want to discuss? I have a lot
No,
of
I think
time.
I think no, I have another program and I need to give some time for
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
YouTube to
Please.
get its breath back. They have to do
Okay.
notifications.
I think that's fine.
Wonderful, sir.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And looking forward. I'll let's go offline, and I need to chat to you for about tomorrow's program.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
give
do
me
that. We'll do that.
just
We'll do
stay
that.
online. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Thanks a lot to everyone for a wonderful evening and good evening and Jai Hind to all of you.